Hey everyone, in this video I'm gonna go over all the new sets that are coming with patch U35, also called Lost Steps, from a tank's perspective. Let's start with the Earthen Root Enclave dungeon. Light Armor set, Stone's Accord. On heal with an area effect, apply Minor Berserk and Minor Resolve to healed allies for 4 seconds. If a healed ally already has Minor Berserk or Minor Resolve from Stone's Accord, restore 550 magicka. The restore can occur once every 5 seconds. Damage dealers can easily keep up Minor Berserk by themselves thanks to Camouflage Hunter or even Kinra's, so that part of the set is rather useless. You can consistently keep up Minor Resolve with that set, which is around 6 to 7% damage reduction, though I don't think you'd ever find it useful. In less experienced dungeon groups and trial groups, a healer can keep up Minor Resolve with Combat Prayer, and those more experienced dungeon groups that run with 3 damage dealers would probably prefer a set that boosts DPS rather than survivability. Medium Armor set, Rage of the Ursauk. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, create a 12-meter area for 12 seconds that grants Empower to allies inside, increasing the damage of their heavy attacks against monsters by 80%. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. This set is completely useless because of the changes to Empower. It now only boosts heavy attacks damage. Heavy Armor set, Deeproot Zeal. When you deal direct damage to a taunted target, restore 525 stamina and magicka. This effect can occur once every 2 seconds. As a tank, you're usually expected to run support sets, but even if you wanted to go with Selfish set, this is not the one you want to go with. The resource store is abysmally low, so it's completely useless. Monster set, Archdruid Devyric. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, after 1.2 seconds deal shock damage to up to 6 enemies within 7-meter cone on your target, applying major vulnerability to them for 7 seconds, increasing the damage enemies take by 10%. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds and scales off of the higher of your weapon or spell damage. This set can be used to fill in the gaps in major vulnerability provided by Turning Tide. In dungeons, Tremor Scale will still be better if your DDs are missing penetration, and I'm not sure how the set will compare to Spolder in terms of group DPS boost, but I don't think the difference would be that big, and this set, unlike Spolder, doesn't reduce your sustain. It's probably going to be the best option for unorganized pack trials. You should proc it first and then hold out your Turning Tide proc until this set's major vuln expires. If you do this the other way around, as in proc Turning Tide first and then try to hold Archdruid, you'll be unable to heavy attack for the time being. It's definitely something you wanna get. Now the Graven Deep dungeon. Light Armor set, Grave Inevitability. Dealing damage with a light or heavy attack grants you a stack of Remorseless for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks, up to once every 0.5 seconds. While you have 5 stacks, you generate an Aura of Focus, granting you Major Force, increasing your critical damage by 20%. While you have an Aura of Focus, allies within 12 meters of you gain Minor Force, increasing their critical damage by 10%. You don't need the Major Force for yourself, and your damage dealers have way better sources of Minor Force, such as Barb Trap or Channel Acceleration, which is getting buffed to last 60 seconds in patch 35, and because of that, I think it's a useless set. Medium set, Phylactery's Grasp. On light attack critical damage, you apply Withered Soul, dealing disease damage over 10 seconds. On light attack critical damage on an enemy with Withered Soul, restore 575 stamina. Withered Soul can occur once every 10 seconds, and the damage scales of the higher of your weapon or spell damage. Completely useless for a tank. Heavy Armor set, Pangrit Denmother. When you block, you and up to 3 group members within 12 meters gain Minor Courage for 10 seconds, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 215. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. The tooltip confused me a bit at first. I thought it would proc when you start holding block, but it procs when you actually block an attack, same way Turning Tide works. The set is basically worse Yolnacrin for people who are scared of going into trials. It can't be used instead of Yolnacrin in trials because it only works on 3 people. In dungeon trash fights, it could be used instead of Yolnacrin, but it's straight up worse because it will proc later, and the short range might be an issue. In dungeon boss fights, it's straight up worse than Turning Tide, but still, it can be used if you don't own Turning Tide nor Yolna. Overall, it's not a set worth going after. Monster set, Euphotic Gatekeeper. When you use Roll Dodge, create a Hadolid Husk after you roll. While within 5 meters of the Hadolid Husk, it will absorb all direct damage attacks against you. After 1 second, the Hadolid Husk explodes, dealing poison damage to all enemies within 5 meters. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds and scales of the higher of your weapon or spell damage. This set makes you invulnerable to direct damage for 1 second after dodge rolling. At the moment, I can't see any use for it, but maybe I'll be proven wrong later. Moving on to the PvP sets, we have a light armor set called Langour of Peryite. You deal 6% increased damage to blocking players. When you deal light attack damage to an enemy that is immune to crowd control, apply Langour for 10 seconds, reducing their magicka recovery and stamina recovery by 248. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. It's completely useless in PvE. Medium armor set, Nocturnal Ploy. When you directly apply a major debuff to an enemy, remove a major buff with a duration from the target. When you directly apply a minor debuff, remove a minor buff from the target. These effects can both occur once every 15 seconds, and a target can be affected once every 15 seconds. This does not apply to abilities with delays. Again, completely useless in PvE. Heavy armor set, Mara's Balm. When a negative effect is removed from you, restore 2111 health. When you take damage and have 6 or more negative effects, cleanse all negative effects. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. Selfish set, and a useless one. It has crit resistance line, which is useless in PvE, and you won't be getting enough debuffs to get decent healing out of it. That's it. Thanks for watching, and if you have any more questions, feel free to ask in the comments. See you in the next video.